I'm Amy Eisenstein. I'm here today with my friend and colleague, Tammy Zonker, CEO and founder of Fundraising Transformed. Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about story living. So tell me, what is story living?
Story living is the next level above and beyond storytelling. You know, storytelling I'm a big believer in, and we nonprofits need to do more and more of it.
Yeah.
But story living kind of takes it to the next level. In storytelling, the donor, the prospective donor, is really almost the quiet observer, the listener of the story. Story living actually invites them in to become part of the story.
I love it. How beautiful. We're always looking for new and innovative ways to engage our donors, so inviting them into the story, what a beautiful concept and idea. So give us an example of when story living was in action or when it worked.
Sure, absolutely. So engaging a donor, understanding through the traditional conversations about what interests them about your work, and then inviting them to participate in that work in ways that can be quite profound and transformational. I remember inviting a particular donor, it was a CEO of a large corporation in Detroit, inviting them into a nonprofit where they sat on the help desk, where over 400,000 calls for help come in every year. And even just 15 minutes on that help desk, hearing those stories, understanding the need. The next step was to actually visit a high school and to meet the students in inner city Detroit High School, where really extraordinary work was being done in the face of a lot of challenges.
Yeah, so it's almost a tour, but pumped up.
Exactly. So they get to see and feel something. And I know you believe, like I do, gone are the days where we roll out the red carpet and put on the white gloves to engage our donors. Our donors want to feel something, they want something real, and they want to make a difference.
Yeah, they even want to get their hands dirty.
They do.
Yeah, and this goes for all ages of donors, right? It's not just young donors or our boomers anymore. All donors want to get involved and get engaged and get their hands dirty, yeah?
Absolutely, every demographic.
Yeah, what are some examples of ways that some different organizations are not as touchy-feely or heartstring, right? We talk about cancer or puppy dogs or children, but what are some more challenging organizations that you've worked with? I don't know if challenging is the right word, but maybe harder to get your fingers dirty and get them engaged. What would you recommend to those organizations?
Right. Well, I always encourage them to go back and really ask themselves the question, why do they work there?
Yeah.
Every mission has something that inspires someone.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of story living is to find the people where your mission is their mission. I refer to that as like the third line in their obituary. And if you look at most obituaries, the first line is what they did for a living.
Right.
The second line is the family that they leave behind and honoring and acknowledging them.
Yeah.
And the third line is the nonprofit work or the passion that they had and how they made a difference in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So any last parting thoughts or words of wisdom for our viewers about what they can do to help invite donors in to be part of their story, to be story living, and to really be that third line?
Right, yeah. Well, absolutely, just get to know your donors. I mean, it's so challenging. We wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And there are things that are always urgent pulling at us, whether it's an event, a deadline, a grant application, a board report, which are all important, but there's an urgency to them. There's not necessarily an urgency to major gifts.
Yeah.
And that's why it gets pushed to the back burner, and you know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
So I think that just the encouragement is get to know our donors. And I was always inspired by your commitment, like make it Major Gift Wednesday. To dedicate 20% of your time to major gifts, no matter what.
Right. So how can you invite donors in to live your story one day a week?
Yes.
Right? Maybe that's the challenge we want people to think about how can they make sure that they're participating in a living story at least once a week with one of their donors.
Well, I do encourage my groups to spend that day a week or 2 days a week if they can do it.
Yeah.
And spend part of that time calling and getting those appointments with donors
Right.
to get to know them better, and then scheduling time to get them involved in the mission.
Yeah.
Again, in those very specific and meaningful ways. And I think if we come at it not as another thing to do, but to really recognize our role, the opportunity that we all have
Yeah.
to help them write the third line
Yeah.
in their final chapter,
Yeah.
it's so powerful, and what a privilege.
Yeah. Perfect. What a privilege.
What a privilege.
It's been a privilege having you here, Tammy. Thank you so much for joining me.
My privilege. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you found this video empowering. As a member of the fundraising community, I hope that you will empower others by sharing this video with your friends and followers. If you'd like more videos and tips on fundraising, please visit my website, amyeisenstein.com. Thanks for all you do to make the world a better place.